Camino, for me, a pilgrimage way needs to transform you. Otherwise, it would be a route, right? The transformation in the Camino Lebaniego is more of an inner one. It's like a silence, spirituality that comes through your own effort, your own thoughts, and this nature that is surrounding you and then is so changing, so dramatic nature. Yeah. If an American pilgrim would arrive here, I would like him to obtain what I do obtain when I do it, not other reality, which can be really nice as well, like the one in the Camino Francés, for instance, is like about sharing things constantly, a joyful thing, like meeting people. Here you are going to meet people as well, but in a different type of mental, spiritual status, different. The Camino de Santiago is more about joy. It's the joy of arriving, right? The joy of, I finish it, And the Camino Lebaniego is about quietness. It's more about peace, serenity, what you reach when you finally get to the monastery. It's so much rewarding because in terms of freedom, I think I never felt, look what I'm going to say, I think I never felt so free as when I finished my first night in the Camino. I didn't even finish the Camino. And I felt such a freedom.
Hello, pilgrims. Thank you again for being the Way to Your Way podcast. Here is your host, Efrain Mendoza. And today we are having a different podcast about the Camino Lebaniego. Beyond the Camino Francés lies another extraordinary pilgrimage today. We discover the Camino Lebaniego and the stories it has to tell. And for talking about this, we have today Pilar Bahamonde. She is the director of Fundación Lebaniego, and she's going to be telling us what she's been doing to make the Camino Lebaniego more known around the world. So, hello, Pilar. How are you doing today?
Hello, Efrain. Thank you very much for having me here, and in this very hot day here in Spain.
Okay, you were mentioning that we're 43 degrees Celsius.
Yes. So it's quite a lot for us in the north of Spain. This is not Andalusia.
Yes, I believe that this is like 107 Fahrenheit degrees, something like that.
Ooh, it sounds even worse.
Okay, so recently, as you know, we have the opportunity to be at the Camino Lebaniego that was about 2 months ago, where we have the opportunity to know that very nice Camino and learn a lot of things about also Santo Toribio and the relics from the cross of where Christ was crucified, and then you also live in Santiago when you were young, correct?
Yeah. Imagine. It's even more peculiar than that. I was born in Santiago de Compostela on a jubilee year of Santo Toribio de Liébana. Can you imagine?
Oh.
Yeah. So my life is, yeah.
Okay,
Raw,
so that was just made to born. So you born that way, and then so now you are really involved on the Camino.
Yeah, it had to be, apparently.
Okay, so let's start with the Camino de Santiago, because you born in Santiago.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine that since you born, you were seeing a lot of pilgrims arriving to Santiago and doing a lot of things, so what the pilgrimage is and all that. So what was the curiosity for you about seeing all that at that time?
Well, maybe, of course, when you're of a young age, you don't perceive things as an adult. But what I can tell you is that I grew up watching pilgrims arriving into Santiago, walking their way to Santiago. And it always, it always made an impact on me somehow because, their tenacity, that like the way, the determination, they were going to go to the apostle. By the way, in Galicia, we don't say the apostle Santiago. We don't even say the apostle Santiago. We say the apostle. I know that there are 12, but it's so common there, Santiago, that is el apóstol. Everybody says the apostle. Okay, so in that sense, I had a good impact on their purpose in life, because as a child, you're not that certain about what is these people going, why. So mostly it's the why. It's good because your podcast is the way to your why, right? Then that
Yeah.
was something that triggers me at that moment.
Yeah. And then, so living and being born in Galicia,
Mhm.
and did you walk the Camino of any Camino de Francés or any of those Caminos? Have you
Yeah,
walked?
yeah. I've done the Camino del Norte and I've done the Camino Francés. I didn't do the Camino Francés from France, okay? But then I did specific, specific, how you say, stages of the
Okay,
Camino.
say yes.
Yeah. Hmm.
Okay. And when did you decide to move to Cantabria?
Well, that's a long story because as a student, I've been studying, of course, in Santiago de Compostela, and then I went to Sheffield in the UK, then back to Santiago de Compostela, and then there is this moment in my life that after a marriage and then having a 4-year-old little daughter, I decided to change my place of, living, and then I
Okay.
went to Liébana. I could have chosen other different places, but somehow I was clear in my mind that it had to be here, the land of my ancestors, because I am born of a father from Liébana, from the Camino Lebaniego, and a mother from Galicia,
Okay.
so I had my heart split it into the two, territories.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah,
How interesting is that?
yeah, and then my part in Galicia, I would say it was more of a urban part of life, like more in cities, more in. But then the second half, it was here in Liébana, in the region of Liébana, close to the monastery. So it's a rural life. So it's kind of also a bit disrupting as well, but then very complete, I would say.
Okay, so it was close to the Potes town?
Yeah, 3 kilometers. You're invited to visit me next time you come.
Okay. Wow, but that area is beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you.
So then, when you were living in Potes,
Mhm.
then you already be involved in the Camino Lebaniego, or at that time
Yeah,
were you not
sure.
involved?
Sure. Of course, I was aware of the jubilee year of Santo Toribio. Every time the 16th of April would match on a Sunday. The same that the 25th of July would be Santiago Day in Galicia. Yeah. Then here is the 16th of April on Sunday day. Then it's jubilee year. So I was very well aware of all these traditions. But the Camino, strictly the Camino, it was after I got, I started my life on my own after the divorce.
Okay. Okay. And then, so the Camino Lebaniego is about 73 kilometers, correct?
Yeah, 72. Yeah.
Okay. So then, and I have that experience when I just went there to walk in sections of the Camino, and I like it a lot. Every single part where we were walking, that was super beauty,
Mm.
and invite you to reflect a lot, because that's part of a pilgrimage. When you are going there, that you are thinking and you have time to do so many things that you normally don't do on your day-to-day life. And what are you doing as a Camino Lebaniego to make that uh, people know that Camino Lebaniego exists in other countries outside of Spain?
Mm. Okay, as yes, managers of the Camino, we, in terms of promotion, as you are asking me, yeah,
Yes.
in terms of promotion, what we do is like organizing press trips, in which one of them we had the pleasure to have you here.
Okay.
We are very active in social media. We attend Fitur, which is the national fair in Madrid, in January. But of course, the Fundación is a very young foundation, because it only started in the year 2020, and you and I remember what kind of year was that year, right?
Yes.
The pandemic.
Pandemic.
So imagine. So in the end, it's like it started strongly in the 2021, 2022. And now, so it's, let's say 4 years approximately of doing promotion. So we work in we establish relationships with the European Federation of St. James Way. We
Okay.
belong, we are members. We are also members of FRH, Future for Religious Heritage Organization for Europe, which is like I would say, like the voice of religious heritage in Europe. Because you have to remember that a pilgrimage way is another part of religious tradition, a religious item, right? Not only buildings, cathedrals, and chapels, but also pilgrimages, an intangible. So then we also are members of the worldwide organization, which is like for religious destinies,
Okay.
religious tourism. See? And then I think with that, we started to contact with several people that also got involved, like you, with the Camino Lebaniego, and then that
Yeah.
opened us like a gate and a door to I mean, abroad. Like in the case of Miami, when we recently have been to Miami, archdiocese, and then as well in Guatemala, in the
Okay.
first religious tourism congress that took place, I mean, a year ago. Therefore, we like 2024, we went to Guatemala. When 2025, we went to Miami. Yeah. So, and it makes, I don't know if I'm going to be able to explain in English what it meant to me, but to see all these people, Efrain, listening to what we had to say and the images and getting to know these things, it felt really, it's something that I take in my heart, because I could see then and only then how much benefit and goodness this brought to these people.
Okay. And a little friend came again to visit us. Okay. So then, and talking now about the Camino, and so the story of that monastery, the
Mm.
one from Santo Toribio,
Mm.
that how that cross, that piece of cross, arrived there.
Hmm. Well, we have to go back, for those that can be watching this, we have to go backwards in time to the moment Saint Helena, the mother of the Emperor Constantine, yeah, finds the Holy Cross of Jesus. And then she splits this piece of wood, this amazing piece of wood. She splits it in several pieces, like 3 pieces. She leaves one piece in Jerusalem. She sends another piece to Rome, of course, to the Vatican. And then the third one, of course, to Constantinople. That's why she was the mother of the Emperor Constantino. So we can
Okay.
imagine. So there is where it all begins, because then there is a bishop called Santo Toribio that travels to Jerusalem, and then there he works as he helps with pilgrims, and he got really in good relationship with the Patriarch of Jerusalem. And then when the Persians arrive, he's commissioned to take the piece of wood with him and to put it in a safe place, we can imagine, right, for the Christianity. Then he goes to Rome, and then he makes good relationship with the Pope Leon, precisely. And
Oh.
then San Leon Magno is the one that commissions Santo Toribio with that piece of wood, this big piece of wood, to take it to Spain, to Hispania, and then make it like greater for Christianity, make Christianity greater with it. So that's why the piece of cross is here. Then around the 8th century or more, then of course the Muslim start to, with these fights and things. So they have to move it from Astorga, which was the birthplace of this bishop, and then it's taken to Santo Toribio. Why? Because Well, you know the place now, Efrain.
Yes.
I mean, there is the nature is also like a cage as well, right? Like it's not a cage, like a box, because it's protecting naturally that monastery, and then the monastery protects the relic. So, yeah, that's how it went there. And of course, um, for me, one of the most shocking things is that the custody of this piece of wood is never been broken. It's a custody chain. I don't know if that you can say it in English, but it's like it's for more than 1,300 years. It's been always in custody, never. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
it's
it always has been kept there.
yeah. So, but then imagine for the people in the area, for the generations and generations of people
Yes.
taking custody on this piece of wood.
Yeah, it is amazing. And
Mm.
and then so what would you say to someone to a pilgrim that have walked several caminos de Santiago but do not know about the Camino Lebaniego? What would you tell that person?
Um, Personally, I would say that it's a different way of pilgrimage. Both are pilgrimage ways. Yeah, Santiago has gotten several ways to reach the cathedral. But then the Camino de Santiago is more about joy. It's the joy of arriving, right? The joy of, I finish it, yeah. And the Camino Lebaniego um, it's about quietness. It's more about peace, serenity, what you reach when you finally get to the monastery. Both are deep feelings in your body and then in your soul and in your chest. But the Camino, for me, a pilgrimage way needs to transform you. Otherwise, it would be a route, right?
Right.
But then the transformation in the Camino Lebaniego is more of an inner one. It's like silence, spirituality that comes through your own effort, your own thoughts, and this nature that is surrounding you, and then is so changing, so dramatic nature, with ups and downs, and then this water, these mountains. I don't know. I think our bishop normally says that this is the temple of creation,
Yeah.
like the
And then
nature of the Camino.
that part of the castañas, where are all those castañas tree, the big ones, those are amazing.
Amazing, right? I mean, those are how do you say, the eldest beings in this area. They are more than 1,000 years old. You
Yeah.
hardly believe that a being, a tree, can reach that age. And then walking as you did through them is like, how tiny I
Yeah.
am. That's why I normally say that the Camino Lebaniego is a humble Camino, because it shows you your place in this world, I think.
Yes. And then also the start of the Camino in San Vicente is the junction with the Camino del Norte,
Yeah,
correct?
yeah.
Okay. So what captivated me was the views of the ocean a little prior to that area
Mm-hmm.
that you can see almost, I don't know, like more than 90 degrees of ocean on the left, on
Mm-hmm.
the right. That's
Mm-hmm.
amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And so then talking about infrastructure,
Yeah.
as you know, the Camino Francés and also other caminos, the Portuguese, for example,
Mm.
when you're walking, there are a lot of infrastructure around it. So how about the Camino Lebaniego? How is that going
Well,
today?
um, in our case, in the Camino Lebaniego, you cross, as you saw, you cross several small villages.
Okay.
You don't have the same infrastructures, and you won't have the same infrastructures that Camino Francés, for instance, because it cannot be possible, because you cross, this pilgrim crosses, I mean, villages of 18, 20, 30 inhabitants, 50 inhabitants, which is like the pristine um, core of the rural life here. Then we have to find a balance between the reality, respecting the type of life that the villagers, the locals, have chosen for their
Okay.
lives for generations, and also the needs of the pilgrims that are walking all along. But of course, I mean, this equilibrium or this balance needs to be found in order to preserve the authenticity, because you cannot put 200 pilgrims a day on a place that has 20 inhabitants, right? Because then it wouldn't be the authenticity would be gone for the pilgrim as well. Because what you want to see, Efrain, it probably is what you saw when you came, is like reality. This is a rural area in the north of Spain, in the Camino Lebaniego, which is UNESCO listed, which goes to the biggest piece of the cross of Jesus. These things are like treasures. If you start building lots of things that have nothing to do with it, then where's the reality of this Camino? We could lose exactly what makes us different. And then, of course, for villagers, it wouldn't make sense neither, because then they wouldn't be able to enjoy what they do now. Because what I can tell you is that there is like sort of a symbiosis. The pilgrim obtains, when they arrive here, they really obtain time and attention from villagers. But also villagers obtain time and attention from pilgrims. So the balance, it's like a goal for us as well, to preserve it. I don't know if I'm explaining myself as I would.
You're explaining it, yes. So you wanted to keep everybody happy. So the people that live in the area, as well as the pilgrim that visit the area.
Yeah. If an American pilgrim would arrive here, I would like him to obtain what I did, what I do obtain when I do it, not other reality, which can be really nice as well. Like the one in the Camino Francés, for instance, is like about sharing things constantly, joyful thing, like meeting people. Here you are going to meet people as well, but in a different type of mental, spiritual status, different.
Yeah, you're gonna see people, because I saw people, but you're gonna see a lot less people than what you are seeing at the Camino Francés. And you have things that are close, that are beautiful. So, for example, the Capricho de Gaudí, that is not exactly on the Camino Lebaniego,
but it's in the Camino Lebaniego. Yeah, like 17 kilometers before starting in San Vicente, which for me, to be honest, if I were you, to me, I would start in Santander. Because Santander is like, you have the airport and so on, blah, blah, blah. Then you arrive, you jump out of the plane with your backpack, and then you start in the Camino del Norte, and then you are like drinking from the sources of the pilgrimage and other pilgrims on the way to Santiago. And then, it's becoming narrower, maybe. And then when you arrive past the Camino, the Capricho de Gaudí, as you said, you arrive into San Vicente de la Barquera, you can wet your feet in the rough Cantabrian Sea, the ocean, but then you start with the river, all along the river, all up into the mountains. So it's a sort of like preparing yourself, like, as if nature would be preparing yourself to reach the mountains. And I can tell you, when you get to Cicera, you're not the same person. That is a promise.
Yes.
You don't need to reach the monastery. When you
you have a cascade there, and then you have the views as well, so that you can see from the mirador. They're amazing.
And it's just for you, because as you saw it, there is no crowd anywhere. I mean, it's pristine, it's pure. Have you seen any eagle or vulture or while you were at the mirador? Because sometimes, if you're lucky, you can see them and you're above them, and then you see them flying underneath you. So for me, it's like, wow.
Yeah, it should be. I didn't know it, but yes, it should be very, very nice.
Next time.
Yeah, next time. And then, so the Picos de Europa, those are beautiful, and that actually you can see it also from once you get to the Monastery.
Yeah.
There is a part there that is very close to it that you can see all the Picos de Europa. It's a super nice view.
Yeah, that these nearly 900 walls of stone, like cut sharp like that, and then yeah, all the valleys that are like underneath, like yeah, and then you are in the monastery, so you can easily imagine what kind of life they could have had. The 8th century, can you imagine? 8th century, 9th century. Ooh.
Over there is so peaceful. And then, so from Santander, you mentioned to start pilgrims when arriving Santander, to start walking from there in the Camino del Norte.
Yeah, I think so.
How many kilometers? Do you know how many kilometers are from Santander to San Vicente?
Well, I would say 5 days. 5 days
5 days
walk,
walking.
more or less, and then the 4 days of from San Vicente to Santo Toribio. Why I'm saying days? Because to me, pilgrimage is not like a sports competition, right? I
Correct.
mean, I am as a pilgrim. What I like to do is like walk in the morning, like till noon or early evening, then stopping, then relaxing, then seeing my um like my day in front of me, just to rest and enjoy what I am seeing. Not only walking, like, for me, walking 50 kilometers doesn't make that much sense for me, because it's not that I cannot do it, yeah, but why? Why would I walk? This is very personal, Efrain. Why would I walk 50 kilometers to reach what? The next albergue, the next shelter, to arrive sooner? Of course, it depends on how many days you can count on to do your Camino. Yeah, this is very, very personal. Everything in the Camino is personal.
Yes.
Planning, deciding, coping, everything is personal. So this is only my opinion, my sincere opinion.
Okay. And another question that I have for you here is that you may know that sometimes, especially here in the US, I don't know if in Spain it's the same, but in the US, when a pilgrim is thinking of going to the Camino, and they always say that they something that they would like to do it, and they have on their bucket list, but most of the time they do not know when. And when you ask when, they may say a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5, or they don't know.
Yeah.
And most of the responses are because time. You know, in the US, the vacations are not like in Europe.
Mm.
Sometimes, if you are lucky, you may
Yeah.
have 3 weeks of vacation,
Ah,
but there are people that just have 1 week of vacation per year.
yeah. Yeah.
And but then the other thing, and this is nice about the Camino Lebaniego too, that you don't need a lot of time if you
No.
wanted to walk the Camino Lebaniego, because it's a
Mm.
short Camino.
Mm.
So that, and 3 days or 4 days max, plus the time of transit is make probably a week from here to there. But then, what would you say to that people that desire to walk but they don't know when to do it? What would you say to that?
Um, I understand about this short time for holidays, for vacation, because of course with 4 days pilgrimage you can embrace it, the whole pilgrimage at once. So I've started and I finished, and I go back to the States, for instance, with my pilgrimage done, right? But when to start? I think this is your mind that dictates. If you have it always, because the Camino starts that at that moment, at that precise moment. It's not. It starts when I get my backpack. No, 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 no. Or not even when I am preparing my backpack. No, no. It starts when I am kind of restless in these things. Yeah, I think I would like to do it. I read or listen to people or obtain information enough for me to motivate myself to go there. Then this is your starting moment. And then if my advice would be like, don't 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 push it back, don't push it aside, because it's in you. Then what if I start trying to, how would I explain this? In the end, it goes all about what takes a person to decide to spend their holidays instead of having a nice drink under a palm tree in the sunlight, whatever, to get a backpack and then start walking, and then no facilities, you get tired. You know what I mean? It's a state of mind. Then if you have that call on you, I think if I were them, I would go for it, pursue it, because what can you will lose nothing. You will lose nothing because you're going to test yourself because it's within you. Yeah. Then postpone it. Yes, of course. I mean, we all have family, duties. Who doesn't, right? But I would be serious with that, because I remember myself, Efrain, at that moment saying to myself, I would do it, but probably this is not for me because, it's going to be complicated. Or maybe this is me years and years ago. No, probably I'm not going to be able to reach the first shelter. I'm going to be cracking anywhere. And then I'm going to be somewhere. No, I regret so much following, these thoughts that prevented me to start moving, like to put an action in it. Because once you're determined and you do it, there's nothing to lose. Nothing to lose. On the opposite, it's so much rewarding, because in terms of freedom, I think I never felt, look what I'm going to say, I think I never felt so free as when I finished my first night in the Camino. I didn't even finish the Camino, and I felt such a freedom. I'm able to do it at my own path, at my own rhythm, of course. That is the nicest thing.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
And it's so transformative, the Camino, for the good.
And for the good.
So many things that you can see. And we recently have an interview with a director of a documentary, and the documentary is called Feels Camino. I'm going to share with you later the link to that.
How interesting.
So, and Feels Camino was a person. He was a person that he was diagnosed with a cancer, stage 4. So that means that's the terminal stage. And he was under chemotherapy treatment, and he saw a movie that I believe that was called 6 Ways to Santiago, from that director that made the Feels Camino. And he told his wife, call that director and tell her that she needs to come here to walk the Camino with me. He used to live in Seattle.
Oh, wow.
And then, so they were in contact with the director, and the director called him and talked to him. And he said, well, I wanted that you come to my house to walk the Camino with me, because he had a big backyard, and he built a Camino in miniature in his backyard. So she went there, and she said, wow, this is amazing. So, and it was like a kilometer extension or something like that, or a little less, that he made 900 laps, equivalent to the Camino Francés. So, and every time that he make several laps, and he say, I arrived to Pamplona, for example.
Yeah.
Now I arrive, and what he used to do, he used to cook depending of the town that we arrived. And his wife said that he never cooked, but that's what he was doing. And at some moment, his treatment, the doctor that was applying the chemotherapy always say, well, you're going to go to the Camino this time. And he said, don't joke with me. I'm not going to be able to go. You know that I'm under chemotherapy treatment and all that. But there was a point that the values for the test were good. And the doctor said, now you're going to be able to go to the Camino de Santiago. So the happiness of him for being able to go there. Actually, he went to the Camino Francés, and he walked. and he was so positive all the time. And then that's an inspiration. So if you see, if someone with the cancer stage 4 can go to the Camino, anybody can go to the
Anybody, you see that those are like real honest testimonies. And you know why
yeah.
I think that works so well? Because this is my opinion. Because when you're doing the Camino, is the right here, right now, nothing else, Efrain. In the
Correct.
end, it's like as the most similar thing as when you are a kid, when we were kids, that what you want, you really want it. And then you're really, tiring sometimes to your parents because I want this, I want this. And it's because, neurologists say that it's because when we are kids, we don't have like the left side of the brain developed, which is the timeline. So that's why you want something now, because you don't have this thing developed. I think pilgrimage it causes the same effect in us. So this person walking this Camino was focused in this moment. What I'm doing is walking, and I have these kilometers to reach my next hostel, right? Then
Yes.
that's my reality, nothing else. Nothing else matters. And then it's so basic. And when you reach that place, a piece of, a plate of food is so tasty for you. And then when you sleep in sometimes these mattresses that are not like the most comfortable, you won't find them in the Hilton hotel, right? But then you
Correct.
rest like a baby. You really have a nice rest like a baby. Then it must be something.
Correct. That's absolutely right. Well, thank you, Pilar, for being here today and for joining us on the podcast. And thank you to you, Pilgrims, for watching us today. Like we're having several episodes about the Camino Lebaniego. I believe that this is going to be the fourth one. We already have published two, but there's going to be another one from the El Capricho de Gaudí that is probably going to be posting in the next few weeks or prior to this one. Sorry. And then we're going to be also sharing some little episodes of 5 minutes each about the different towns where we were visiting the Camino Lebaniego. Thank you again, and please keep adding your comments to the comment sections. Buen camino.
Buen camino.